Good morning and welcome to today's shir. Today is Succah Daf Hey, Succah 5. Joined by Shmuel today again.
Hello.
Shmuel has been a constant, mechazik me in my learning. I actually pay Shmuel $100 a day to come to my shir.
You're not supposed to tell me.
$100 a day. Is that a fair amount? I mean, $100 a day to get a Talmidim? Let's say I want to have like 100 Talmidim. So 100 Talmidim plus $100 would be how much? $10,000? If I want 1,000 Talmidim, I have to pay how much? $100,000? And I wanted 10,000 Talmidim, then I have to pay $1 million. So for $1 million, I can have 10,000 Talmidim. Is it worth it? Rekiva at 24,000 Talmidim. How much did he pay? He didn't pay anything, obviously, right? He had people were attracted to his Torah. For me, I gotta pay. It's a tough world out there. Business is tough these days. The corona, business is tough. $100 a day. Listen, it's worth it. Start with one. You work your way up to two.
Why don't you just start with giving them free Gemaras?
You're right. You're right.
Give them all free art scroll Gemaras.
How much is an art scroll Gemara? It's like $40, $30
Okay.
an art scroll Gemara. Who says they're gonna come?
Oh.
There's other shiurim out there that give out free Gemaras.
No, don't talk about other
No, there's other shiurim. So I'm saying I'm not gonna. They might go to the other shir. So, and I figure if I pay you $100 cash, like with the Ben Franklin on it, they call the Ben Franklins. They used to call them Bennies. Bennies, they go to the Jersey Shore. Bennies.
Bennies. What's Bennies?
Ben Franklins.
Oh.
They call them Bennies. I think it was from it stops from Manhattan or Port Authority to the Jersey Shore. I think have B N Y N Y. Is that possible? I don't know.
What is that?
No, it's initials that stand for the stops. Maybe it was Newark and Edison. I'm not sure.
What's B stand for? Brooklyn. B stands
You know the famous community in the Jersey Shore.
No.
Deal, New Jersey.
Oh, Deal, New Jersey.
My cousin just got married to a girl from Deal, New Jersy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for an engagement present, they bought him a mansion. No, she's not. I don't think she's that rich, but
that's right.
They have a lot of money in Deal, New Jersey. But
Really?
yeah, Yaakov Shweki lives in Deal, New Jersey. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
You know who Yaakov Shweki is?
Yaakov Shweki.
Yeah, Yaakov Shweki, the famous singer. What's your favorite Yaakov Shweki song?
Yaakov Shweki song?
Yeah. Aval halayla halayla hazeh.
Oh, that's really.
Aval halayla aval hayom hazeh. Today's Succah Daf Hey.
I think you should don't put your tape on. Okay.
Aval hayom hazeh. Okay, we're starting from the bottom of Dalam and Bees. I think where it says Minolan. Where do we know? Shenek Voa Asar Tvach. And Mishnah says if the Sukkah, the halal, the airspace in the sukkah is not 10 tefachim tall, it's a puzzle sukkah, Minolan. Where we know it's from Itmar, Rav, Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yochanan, Rav Chaviva, Masna, Bekulu, Seder Moed, Kolki, Aizuga, Chalufi, Rabbi Yochanan, Maile, Rabbi Yonasan. These four Amoraim got together and said the following teaching, and the Gemara is just telling you that really it's not Rabbi Yochanan, it's Rabbi Yonasan, because this is part of Seder Moed, sukkah, so you switch Rabbi Yochanan with Rabbi Yonasan. Aron Tisha, Kaporas Tefach. The Aron, in the Beis Hamikdash was 9 tefachim. It was an am of a chetzi. And the kaporos was a tefach. We'll get them later and see where we know these dimensions from. Areka and Asara. So you have the Aron with the kaporos is 10 tefachim, a machitza of 10 tefachim. Chsiv, v'no'arti l'cha sham dibarti l'cha ma'al kaporos. Hashem says to Moshe, I'm going to come to the Kodesh HaKadosh. I'm going to speak to you from on top of the kaporos. Tanya, Rabbi Yossi, Omer, Ma'olam l'yard the Shechina l'mata, v'lo'olam Moshe v'li'alu l'marom. So you see, the fact is that Hashem never went within 10 tefachim of the ground, and Moshe and Eliyahu, a human being, never went within 10 tefachim of Shamayim. So therefore you see that 10 tefachim is considered its own domain. Once considered its own domain, it's chashuv enough that Hashem is not going to go l'mata ma'asara. So therefore you see that machitza, a real halachic partition, is 10 tefachim tall. Where do we know that Hashem doesn't go within 10 tefachim, and we don't go l'mal in 10 tefachim?
Well, we're standing l'mal in 10 tefachim. What do you mean you didn't go l'mal? He's standing. You're open. I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu was not a
No,
midget.
that's
I
that.
mean,
They explain. They explain that there's a space in between. This is the Chassam Sofer. The art scroll explains that Hashem didn't go within the 10 tefachim of the ground, and Moshe and Eliyahu didn't go within
But
10
they're over
tefachim
10
of
tefachim,
Shamayim.
they're standing.
But there's a lot of space in between. That, but both is susceptible for Hashem to go and for human beings to go. The space in between, right? 10 tefachim lamata min Hashamayim is all the way up. It's all the way up. Not where Richard
it's
Branson
not
went yesterday.
10 tefachim.
It's higher.
Not 10
It's
tefachim,
higher.
higher than the ground. 10 tefachim off the ground. It's not 10 tefachim off the ground.
No, it's 10 tefachim from Shamayim, wherever
Shamayim,
the Kisei HaKavod
whatever
is.
that is, he went 10 tefachim lower. That's it.
So Richard Branson was trying to get the
Richard
Kisei
Branson,
HaKavod
where
yesterday.
do you get these
He
names?
flew to space yesterday.
Oh, did he?
I remember I was telling you about this, Virgin Galactic. He flew, he's the first billionaire to space. He flew, I think he was successful. He flew 55 miles above the line between airspace and space. And he made it into space.
Really?
So, yeah, he's going to make a
He came back also?
business out of transporting people to space.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, he didn't get within 10 tefachim
People
l'mala.
are gonna pay to go up to space.
Yeah, Shmuel, we'll go together. We'll make a siyum on Sukkah. We'll go
That's
together.
interesting. Yeah, you make it. Give it
worth
Daf Yomi. Give Daf Yomi from Mars or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? The first Daf Yomi given in outer space. Okay, let's go.
All right. So, Shneimar Hashemayim Shemayim LaHashem, Haaretz Nesan L'Neyam. The Shemayim belongs to Hashem. The land belongs to people. Lo yarda Shechina Lamata. Shechina didn't come Lamata. V'achsiv v'yirid Hashem al Har Sinai. Says Hashem went on Har Sinai. L'mal Masar Tefachim. He didn't go within 10 tefachim of the actual Har. V'achsiv v'amdu ragla v'yamahu al Har Zeisim. It says in Moshe Mashiach, Hashem is going to go on Mount Olives, Har Zeisim. L'mal Masar Tefachim. Where is this? I'll go within above 10 tefachim. L'mal Moshe v'Eli l'Marom. They never went within 10 tefachim of Shamayim. V'achsiv Moshe ala Elokim. He went to Hashem when he went to Har Sinai. Lamata Masar. He didn't go all the way up. V'achsiv v'yal Eliyahu b'Sara Shamayim. Eliyahu was transported at the end of his life. He went up fiery furnace to Shamayim. Lamata Masara. That's
What was it? The
a fiery chariot. He
Chariot,
went
right,
chariot.
right.
Lamata Masara. That was also beneath 10 tefachim. Achsiv machaz pnei kisei parshes alav ananu. This is a pasuk in Iyov. It's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. That Hashem spread. He let him touch the Kisei HaKavod, and he spread his Ananei HaKavod on Moshe. Amar Rabbi Tam Kamalam Shapir Shakai Ziv Shchinosav Ananu Olav. He placed his splendor and his cloud on Moshe. Where is Lamata Me'asara? It was talking about Moshe and Aaron never got within 10 tefachim, lower than 10 tefachim. It says he held the Kisei HaKavod. Hashem extended the foot of the Kisei HaKavod, whatever that means, outside of 10 tefachim. Moshe held on to it. So now the Gemara is going to explain where we know 9 tefachim and 1 tefach. Bishlama Aron Tisha D'Chsivatu Aron Seishiti Omatzai Mechetzi Arko Ama V'Chetzi Rachbo Ama V'Chetzi Kom Also. It says Ama and Chetzi, it's height. Ella, an amma is 6 tefachim, and half an amma is 3 tefachim. That's 9 tefachim. Ela kapora is tefach, we know. And where you know kapora was tefach? Tani Rabbi Chanina kol kelim she'asam Moshe and aslam hen Torah midas arko midas rachman and midas komasan. All the kelim, the Beis Hamikdash, the exact measurements were given. Kaporis midas arko midas rachman nasna midas komasla nasa. It didn't tell you the kaporis, the lid of the aron. It didn't tell you how thick it was, how tall it was. Selamani pakal shebekelim. You'll go and learn from auxiliary kalim. Shenemar b'asisa lom is geras tefach. By the shulchan, there was a border, a rim around the shulchan. It's machlokas whether it was above the shulchan or below, directly below the shulchan. It was a tefach. Savim ala halan tefach afkan tefach. We learn from there that the height is a tefach. V'neilach mikalim gufay. I learn from actually utensils. Why are you learning from the rim or the border of a keli? The kli. Learn from a kli, and that will be a bigger size. Tafasta meruba tafasta. Tafasta more tafasta. When we try to learn a memad tzina from one place, we generally take the lower chiddush. You don't go for the bigger chiddush right away. V'neilach mitzitz. Learn from the sitz. The sitz was plate worn, a golden plate worn on the forehead of the Kohen. This is Kaddish Lashem. The Tanya sits domek min taz shel zav. It was like a piece of metal of gold, a plate of gold. V'rachav shtei etzbos. It was wide 2 etzbos. 2 etzbos is much smaller than a tefach. It's half a tefach. Mukaf ma'ozen la'ozen. Chsiv alav b'yishitin. It went from ear to ear and had two lines in it. Yud Hey Lamala, Kodesh Lamed Mamata. It said Kodesh LaHashem. So Kodesh, the word Kodesh and the Lamed of LaHashem were Lamata. And the Yud Kei Vav Kei was Lamala. There were two lines. Interesting. Probably the way Tosfos explains that Kodesh Lamed was written first on the bottom, and then Hashem was written after it, but on top. I saw the actually arguments. I saw the actual sits in Romi. They let him go into the Geniza over there. Because of Kodesh LaHashem, B'shita Achas, and it said the word Kodesh Hashem. There was one line. It wasn't two lines. So Mefarshim asked over here, how could the Rabbanan argue on Elazar Rabbi Yossi if he saw it? Shmi Gdola Maria, meaning, how could you argue on what he saw? You have the kasha?
It's a good kasha.
So I saw an article. What the answer is that this is talking about Lechatchila, but the Eved, even Elazar Rabbi Yossi, they think Elazar Rabbi Yossi, what he saw was B'di'evet. They made a mistake. B'di'evet, the Rabbanan agreed that you could write it on one line. Lechatchila, you're supposed to write it on two lines. Elazar Rabbi Yossi saw a sitz and they made a mistake on it. They did a B'di'evet. B'di'evet, it's kosher, but that's what they say.
The same thing with the Arch of Titus. They had the picture of the menorah, so they, that's a little different because it's just someone, a Roman art, Roman artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what about it? It says Kodesh LaHashem on it?
No, I'm saying it's a menorah, and from there they say that you can see the menorah is, round branches. Can you bring?
Oh, it wasn't the exact the Gemara says.
No, some people say the Rambam says it's, like the Babich has the menorah, so like it's slanty, straight, horizontal. You know what I mean?
My father bought a menorah for me when I got married. Like right before I got married, he bought a menorah for me, and it was a Chabad one. With the going out like V's, the branches.
Right, so that's not.
And my brother-in-laws never let me hear the end of it. They're always making fun of, hey, the Chabad Shaliach from New York came, the Chabad brother-in-law. I never heard the end of it. Finally, I just got rid of it and got a glass menorah. I couldn't stand it anymore. All the teasing.
Oh my gosh! Don't give in to it.
No, my brother-in-law also. Yeah, a different brother-in-law. He got a frock. They called him. He called him Chabad also because he had the frock. So we're two Chabadniks, and there was one priest because my brother-in-law had to become a priest in order to get a passport or something like that.
Priest?
I don't know. Not a priest. I don't know. They said he was a religious figure. I don't know, priest or something like that. There's some exemptions made for passports to become a priest. I don't know. Anyway.
That sounds very strange.
So we have an interesting family. We have a priest,
by the way, what time does he give?
a Chabad Shaliach, and a rabbi.
What time does he give confessions? He accepts confessions. What time can I go to?
I can arrange it for you.
Confession.
Listen,
Okay,
I'll trade you one share for a confession.
Okay.
Done
and clean. They ain't done with. Okay, done and clean.
So the Gemara says, "Dan and clean and dan and clean tach." You can't learn from the sits, because that was an accessory. We've talked about another share difference between an accessory and a kli. An accessory is an ornament that you don't have to wear. You don't have to wear your shoes. You can wear sandals. You don't have to wear socks. You don't have to wear a watch. You don't have to wear things that you wear for fashion. That's called accessories. V'neilef mizer. Learn from the crown that the Aron had and the Mizbeach Hazav had and Shulchan had. Amar zer mashu. Zer can be even a little bit, a teeny bit, could be a crown. Dan and kli, and dan and kli mehechsher. That's a hechsher kli. It's considered to be something which is an adornment. You don't really need it. Hachi mizgeres nami hechsher kli. The mizgeres also was sort of an auxiliary kli. It was sort of an adornment. So the Gemara says mizgeras lamata haisa. It was actually functional because it was below. It was a rim below the kli, and the legs were standing on the rim. So it's actually more than just an adornment. Hanichelman da amar mizkaras lamata haisa. El lamanda amar mizkaras lamala haisa, that it was a rim above the shulchan. Ma'ikal meimar hayachsher klihu. El adan and davar shenista bo Torah mida midavar shenista bo Torah mida. The Gemara goes back. The reason we learn kapores from the mizgares is because mizgares was part of the shulchan. The shulchan Torah gave measurements. Torah never said since it's two etzbos. There's mashu that the Chazal learned that from somewhere else. So that was never included in the Torah. Therefore, we learn from Mizgeres, where it's part of the Shulchan, which Torah gave measurements otherwise. That's the first limit. Rav Huna Amar Mahachar. Rav Huna argues. He says you can learn the kaporas tefach from a different limit. Al pnei kaporas kedma. It says the word by kaporas al pnei panim, like a face. Vein panim pachos mitefach. A face of a person is not, or an animal, or any face is not less than a tefach. A face has to be at least a tefach. Ve'ema ka'ape. Turn the page to Hamad Beis to Bar Yochmi. The face of a big bird. That's bigger than a tefach.
Big bird.
Big bird, yeah, the yellow one. Yeah, he was like at three tvachim at least. Yeah, Cookie Monster was two tvachim, and he was three tvachim.
What is it? It's an ostrich, you think?
I don't know exactly. Ov gadol huma od, Rashi says.
It's a great bird.
Yeah, a big bird. Tavasta Ruba Tafasta. Oscar the Grouch had a tefach face. Cookie Monster two tvachim, and Big Bird three tvachim. All right, I'm joking. Come on, I would joke around. Tefasta rule tefasta more tefasta. So we don't learn from the bigger shir. We go to the smaller shir. Ema kape the superior to the zutar tuva. There's birds that have smaller faces than a tefach. Amarach bar Yaakov Rav Huna pnei gomer. It wasn't actually a mematzino. We're going back on what we said. He actually in the gzera shava. Ksiv hacha al pnei akaporas. Ksiv chasa meis pnei yitzchak aviv. It says by a person Yitzchak. His panim, and a person's face is not smaller than a tefach. Learn from the panim of a malach. The chsiv kiros pnei elokim aterteni. Tefastim a little bit tefasta more tefasta. You go for the smaller chiddush. V'neima mikruv. Learn from the kruv. Kruvim on the aron. The chsiv al kaporas yu pnei akruvim. It says pnei by the kruvim. Amar Rav Yaakov miri ein pnei kruvim chusim mitafa. The kruvim. We're not smaller than a tefach. The face of the kruvim, right? Rav Huna nami mehachik gomer. Rav Huna could have learned it out from Yitzchak, or could have learned from the kruvim. They both were not less than a tefach. But my kruv, why is it called a kruv? Amar Rabbi Abba kiravia. It comes from the
kruv in Hebrew nowadays is a cabbage.
Yeah, but in kruvim could also be the angelic figures on top of the aron. No,
right.
What's the connection between the two?
About what?
The kruvim and cabbage.
I'm just telling you, kruv. You go into a
vegetable
store, it's cabbage.
Right. So why do they call it the same thing as the kruvim?
I don't know why. I'm Ravu Karavia. She came well currently.
So the word is that it's not exactly, it's kiravia. The kaf is not actually part of the name. It's It's like a ravia. Shkein baba currently nuka ravia. It's like the face of a child. The kruvim had a face like a child. Amalei abaya almaata d'chsiv pnei echad pnei akruv pnei hasheni pnei adam. There were four faces on the Mara that Yechezkel saw. One was the face of a person. One was the face of a kruv. If a kruv is a child, so it's the same thing as a person. The Gemara says the difference between a grown-up face and a small face. They're really two different faces, but they both were not less than a tefach. So now the Gemara asks the fundamental question: how do you know the halal was 10 tefachim, excluding meaning 10 tefachim of airspace? Excluding the schach, and now we're learning from the aron and the kaporas. The aron was only an airspace of 9 tefachim. The kaporas was a lid that was 1 tefach thick. So therefore, really, a sukkah should be kosher even with 9 tefachim of airspace. You don't need 10 tefachim of airspace. And it seems from Pasha from the Mishnah that you need 10 tefachim of airspace. Elam mibeis olam gomar. D'chsiv abayis Rabbanan Melech Shlomo laHashem shishim. So the Gemara goes back. We're not learning from the Aron anymore. We're learning from Beis Olam is the Beis Hamikdash, the first Beis Hamikdash. So see abayis Rabbanan Melech Shlomo laHashem shishim amarko ve'esrim rochvo, 60 amos long, 20 wide, v'shloshim amakom, so 30 till the roof of the Beis Hamikdash was 30 amos. D'chsiv komas hakruv echad esrim amos v'chein hakruv hasheni. Each kruv was 10 amos tall. Tanya Memad Sidim Beis Olamim. So we learned from the Beis Olamim to the Mishkan. Kruvim b'shlish habayis and omdim. Mishkanami kruvim b'shlish habayis and omdim. It was 1/3 of the height was the kruvim. Mishkan kama happy. How tall was the Mishkan? Eser amos. Eser amos orach hakeresh. The actual beams were 10 tefach with 10 amos. Kama happy lushis and pushke. So if you convert amos into tefachim, you get 60 tefachim. Plus a kama happy. How much is a third? Esrim pushke. 20 tefachim. Dala Sarah the Aron the Kaporas. So we just calculated that the Aron and the Kaporas is 10 tefachim. Pashtalu Asara. Now the kruvim stood on top of the the aron. So if they were a third, if they were 20 tefachim together with the aron, so therefore we're left with 10. So the keruvim were 10. So you see that they were spreading their wings on top of the kaporas. It says the word sochachim, like sound like schach lamala ma'asara, and their wings were above their heads. So they have 10 tefachim of airspace between the top of the kaporas and their wings. And the wings were on top of them, like the schach. How do you know their wings were on top of their heads? Maybe they were parallel to their heads, in which case the airspace would be less. Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov lamala, because it says the word lamala, so you know that the word is persi kanafayim lamala. They were above their heads. But maybe they were actually much higher. And you could, the minimum shear for a sukkah is even greater. Miksiv lamala. It doesn't say lamala twice; it says it once. Therefore, just a little bit right above their heads. So the language is all of what we're saying now makes sense according to Rabbi Meir, who says that the amos in the Beis Hamikdash or Beinonius were 6 tefachim. El Rabbi Yehuda Damar Amos shal binyan shisha tefachim shal kelim chamisha. He says that when it comes to building the Beis Hamikdash for the beams and stuff like that, so whenever it says an Amma, it means Shisha Tvachim. But the Kalim, like the Aron and Shulchan and the Menorah, when it says an Amma, it meant 5 Tvachim. Ma'ikal Meimah, Aron Kaporos Kama Happy. How much, if you say Amma V'chetzi, so the Aron and the Kaporos, how much is going to be? Tmanayo Palga, it's going to be 8.5 Tvachim. Pashlu Chadzario Palga. So therefore we know that the crew went to a third of the height of the Mishkan. So you're left with 11.5 tefachim. Emos Succah ada havya chatzar yapag. We need an airspace of 11.5 tefachim, not 10 tefachim like the Mishnah says. Ella Rabbi Yehuda hilchasa gemirila. The Gemara says according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to say the halacha at the sukkah is within 10. It has to be an airspace of 10 tefachim, not 11.5. Is halacha l'moshe v'sina. The Amar Rabbi Chia Barashi Amar Rav Shiurin Chatzisim L'chitzim halacha l'moshe v'sina. We found the makor that Rav says that shiurim for normally achila, if you eat a kazayas of nevela, let's say koseves and kippur, chatzitzin. We'll see that you need, in order to be a chatzitza, you need rubo makbid, a majority of the space, and also that you care about a machitzin. And halacha is a mechitza. This halacha and mechitza has to be 10 tefachim. Was halacha Moshe Sinai. Tomorrow we'll get into where we know these things from. This statement of Rav. He would have to hold like a statement of Rav. Now I want to tell you a little Torah tidbit. Call it Torah tidbits. The question is like this. This is a famous question over here on this thing. Right now we've established that according to Rabbi Meir, the makor for a mechitza 10 tefachim, or a makor for the airspace of the sukkah 10 tefachim is from where? It's from the kruvim, right?
Right.
Now we had a Gemara in Daf Dalet and Aleph. The Gemara says that let's say you have a sukkah 10 tefachim and you have hutz in Yordan lamata me'asara. So Abaye thought it was a kosher sukkah. Rava says no, dira sruchi ve'enan amdar b'dira srucha. Right. Now it seems like that's a reason in itself.
Right.
So why does the Gemara have to say that pach pusa me'asara tefachim was learned out of the kruvim?
Good question.
And amdar b'dira srucha. So the Ritva, the article brings the Ritva. The Ritva says that there's the Chachila and B'diavad. That Dira Srucha is only Din Rabbanan. It's only Din Rabbanan. They don't only passal. If you have Hutz in Yordan, basically you have it's Miut Schach and Rov Miut Sel and Rov Chamasa. Ruba Chamasa or Miut Sel. So therefore, technically your Schach is 10 Tfachim high, is above 10 Tfachim. But Dira Srucha, if it's hanging, the branches are drooping, so that's a psul derabanan. It wouldn't invalidate it b'diavad. Only the chachila. This is the makor that even b'diavad, if you have actual schach, your schach starts within 10 tefachim. I want to say like this. This is my chiddush. Tell me if you like this or not, Shmuel. That we
like it.
We concluded over here that this is only according to Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir learns from the Kruvim. Yehuda, where does he learn from? He learns halacha l'moshe Sinai. Right? So according to Rabbi Yehuda, maybe that's the Gemara saying. That's the Gemara said. Rav is answering according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, all he knows is that the shir for mechitza. He says shiur chatzitza mechitzin halacha Moshe Sinai. He says the shir for mechitza halacha Moshe Sinai. But we don't know. Like the Gemara asked before, is the mechitza include the schach? In which case it could be 9 tefachim airspace, or maybe it's above the schach, above the mechitza, and it's 10 tefachim airspace. We don't know. That's what Rava is saying on Daf Dalet, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Eidan Amdar B'dira Srucha, that you have to have an airspace of 10 tefachim.
Oh wow! Thank you.
Was that a good chiddush?
Sounds great. I mean,
I started publishing a sefer. It's an appendix to this sefer, Mara Succah. You know, they have some pictures in here about who love him and some sukkahs, I think. Where are the sukkahs? Here, a couple pictures of some sukkahs over here.
very nice. This is your sefer?
No, this actually belongs to a guy named, you can see it, Silver.
Okay.
I can't see it. Silver, who is that guy, Silver? Isn't your name Shmuel Silver? You bought this book? He bought a book just so it can enhance our experience over here. I'm writing the Chidushim. He's drawing the pictures. Shmuel.
Okay, take care. Have a great day.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.